Good morning, this is Holly with Holly's Joys, and I am here with another childhood story. This one is called Sleepwalking and the Pegasus. When I was a kid, maybe, 6 or 7 years old, I started sleepwalking. I knew I was doing it because my mom teased me about it every time. I felt embarrassed and even humiliated as she mocked the way I walked and even the silly way I waved. She did the wave with her hand and her beloved cigarette dangling between her fingers to demonstrate, the smoke clouding the room as she laughs and gestures. Her reactions to it added stress to me because by this time I was hyper aware of my actions. Where are my hands? How do I walk? Speak as little as possible, but not never, because that would be weird. At first, I wasn't sure she was telling me the truth or just jabbing at me because I'd failed to be what she deemed acceptable. And then it happened. I was at the neighbor's house right next door. I was knocking and knocking, but no one answered. The next thing I knew, I was waking myself up by jumping onto the bed and landing on top of my sister's legs. That sudden impact jolt woke me. I realized I must have been outside, in the dark, in the deepest part of the night. In my pajamas, alone. I climbed back into bed and pulled the covers up, and in a state of deep concern that I could no longer even trust myself. I started to pray in my head, definitely not out loud. That would have been too big a risk. Then another time, I had the most beautiful experience I can remember from being a kid, especially around these sleepwalking events. It was like every real experience yet. It was like a dream, disconnected with missing pieces. This time was amazing, entirely different. Something that stayed in my heart and brings me a smile and joy when I recall it even today. I was outside in the middle of the night, in the dark, in my pajamas, but this time I felt safe and it was magical. I was in the side yard between the house and the neighbors. That night was warm and the grass damp, thick between my toes. Next thing I remember, I was on a Pegasus. Not just any old Pegasus, though. It was enormous, pure white, majestic, with wings that stretched out like sails that gently flapped. I could feel the muscles of the body rippling beneath me, the warmth of its skin against my legs. As my hands grasped onto the flowing mane, I could feel the wind in my hair as the animal flew over the treetops and around and between, all over the yard in this amazing midnight dance. I felt exhilarated and free in this glorious moment. I woke up the next morning renewed, my hope and tenacity to find joy and freedom that I'd had in those brief moments in the sky. Even today, when someone asks, what are your happiest memories? I know they want me to say my marriage and the birth of my children, and those things are happy. But if I'm being honest, it's that magical flight on that enormous white Pegasus that brings joy to a little girl's heart in a way nothing else could. This memory is a treasured gift and has let me open myself to amazing possibilities of what others have experienced. My prayer for you is to let yourself remember. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.